Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
The White Lotus is a show exclusively on HBO Max. That is where I saw it. I had heard good things about it. It came out a little while ago. I think it came out actually last year, I think. And it's a show about people at a Hawaiian resort and things that happen there. And the kind of just the basic premise of the show didn't really whet my appetite, as it were. It didn't really get me excited to watch it. Despite the fact I heard many good things about it, just, didn't really feel compelled to watch it until recently, obviously. Watched it, looking for something new to put on, not really even expecting to review it, just to put it on and see what it's about. And I kind of got hooked. And in the end, I burned through the season. There's only, I think, 10 episodes in the first season. And I burned through them super fast. And I loved it. I loved the characters. I loved the interconnection between all of the characters. It's just super interesting, the characters, the arcs the characters have. There was one specific character where at the end of the show I was rooting for, right? Because there was this character that wanted to make this big life change and everybody was against him. And at the last minute, he makes a decision and I was like, do it. I was totally invested in these characters all along the way, and such a fun show. There's supposed to be a season 2. I don't know how there's going to be a season 2. I don't know if it's going to be, I would imagine, I guess, at that same resort, maybe a different resort. I don't know. The show focuses, it's mainly about the guests that are staying at this resort in Hawaii, but also a few of the staff members. So it also tapped into the times working customer service, knowing what it's like when you have to deal with an upset customer or upset, person doing, just trying to make people feel better. I can't imagine working at a resort where you're around these wealthy people for large amounts of time and you're trying to just appease their insanity constantly. But I really enjoyed it. The guests, the staff enjoyed. I mean, even though a lot of them are despicable people, there's still it's still entertaining moments. Still entertaining because some of those people get their comeuppance, and some unjustly get messed up too. Just an interesting show and a great balance of all the different characters and storylines within it. Fit very well. Sometimes, when there's an ensemble type of a show, you can feel unbalanced. You can kind of feel there's definitely a few characters in this that didn't really get the same kind of growth that some of the other characters got, but nonetheless, I enjoyed every bit of it. So I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth of the show. So spoilers. So if you haven't seen White Lotus, I'd recommend not listening or watching to the rest of this, but maybe if you don't care about hearing spoilers, maybe sometimes you listen to spoilers and sometimes oh, that sounds interesting, I'll go watch it. I know I listen to spoilers a lot on movies, and usually I'm kind of doing stuff in the background, so I'm not paying that much attention, and without context, sometimes spoilers don't mean as much. Sometimes, maybe I'll listen to spoilers and it'll be a while before I get to the show or the movie. So by the time I actually watch the thing, I don't remember all the spoilers. Either way, warning. One of the aspects of this show, so you have the maitre d' kind of, he's the manager of this resort, who is amazing. This guy who, is trying to run everything, trying to appease everybody. What is his name? His name is Murray Bartlett. His character is Armand. and he's a gay dude who is sober. He has a problem with substances, running this resort, and things happen, and he falls off the wagon. He relapses, and he goes through a pretty epic downward spiral. Love that character. There's a family that is the main focus of a lot of this, who is Steve Zahn, who I'm a huge fan of. Steve Zahn, older now, playing the dad. He comes in, this season starts with him worrying about he's got swollen nuts, thinks he's got like testicle cancer, think that cancer is something that his father had that killed his father, but he gets information that, his father, like when he finds out, like the arcs that these people have, like bad relation, like he's in a bad marriage with his wife, not bad, but like he cheated on her, and then like there's friction there clearly. Like they're there, but it's like this fake kind of pretend rich white family, like, oh, everything's fine. Like they just kind of ignore issues more than anything. They have their son who's addicted to his screens. They have the daughter who's there with their friend, who all they want to do is do drugs, and her friend just wants to hook up with this dancer guy. But like Steve Zahn's character is great, right? He finds out that like he doesn't have the cancer, that instead like his dad was gay, so his cancer doesn't even run in his family. Gets this opportunity to defend his wife, to kind of bring it all around. Meanwhile, trying to relate to his son, trying to do something fun with his son, doing these scuba things. The son is the character I love the most, right? He's this dude addicted to his things, goes out sleeping on the beach, like just the idea of just being at a resort and just sleeping on the beach is such a fun idea, right? Just like if that were my reality, especially if I was a kid, right? Because if I'm older and I'm paying for this resort, I'm probably not going to be sleeping on the beach. Maybe one night. But like as a kid, that is amazing. And in that, he loses his device. So he's like forced for like the first time in his life to experience the world around him and not be lost in his devices. And when he starts to do that, like he gets enamored by these guys that do the canoe, and then gets into the canoeing. And when the end of the season, like that character that I'm rooting for, him, is like, I wanted him to stay in Hawaii despite the fact he's like 15 or 16 or what. It's like, I don't give a shit, man. You do that. Like, your parents are rich. Like, if things don't work out, they'll get you a fucking plane ticket home, right? It's not like you're poor and you're just going to be homeless, drug addicted in Hawaii, right? You're not going to get into meth. And I mean, maybe you still will, but at least you have your parents, you got money. So if your fun comes to an end, then you have a way out. But like, you have this opportunity to like do something completely different than he's ever done. Like that idea of like being able to go back, for me, to go back as a 16-year-old and to just have the opportunity to live a completely different life, to live this potential life that this kid can have. Like, I was rooting so hard. And now a quick word from our sponsor. Now you can wear the many faces. Original art by Ray Taylor. Select pieces from the ongoing series of abstract ink paintings. All products made with high quality materials, made right here in the USA. Go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF merch to browse the entire collection and save yourself an extra 10% when you check out by using coupon code RTSTMF. So once again, go to inspireddisorder.com/TMF merch and save 10% when you use coupon code RTSTMF. And now, back to our show. Meanwhile, like, I enjoyed the dad. Like, I kind of felt sympathy for the fact, like, he's got this big cancer scare, and then it turns out that it's not, and that he finds out this information, which happens in everybody's life with their family, when they find out things about their family. Like, so many families, like, there's such frauds. There's such fiction as far as family history is concerned. Like, there's so many things about my family I have no idea, right? I remember hearing stories about my grandpa's tire shop being raided by the FBI, right? So probably, maybe laundering money. I don't know. It's just like you hear these things that I will never know the reality of. And for Steve Zahn's character, he, like, to find out that your dad had this completely separate life, that he was, he was living a false life with his mom and his kids, that he was gay the whole time, but had this, like, these completely other life, and died at a time when AIDS was, like, a major thing and everybody covered it up. It's like, that is a big mind fuck. And he's, like, going through this. Meanwhile, like, his son is going through, like, this completely huge life-changing thing. Meanwhile, they're, like, bonding at the same time. I love, like, that whole storyline, that whole thing. The daughter, horrible person, right? We find out that she's the kind of person that fucks over her friend at any opportunity. Will actively try to sleep with whoever is sleeping with her friend, to try and mess up whatever joy her friend is having. And while they're at this resort, her friend is hooking up with this dancer guy, and she's super jealous about it, which is like she's a character that at no point do I like at all. She has, like, probably the least growth out of all of the characters. Like, towards the end, I guess she, like, kind of opens up to her mom. Maybe she kind of, like, gets on some level with her friend, because her friend also kind of screws them over, trying to, setting that guy up. Like, one of the biggest tragedies, there's a few tragedies in this, but one of the biggest tragedies of a character is the dancer guy who's sleeping with this girl, right, the friend of this family, and she sets up this opportunity for him to steal these bracelets that are, like, super expensive. And when he gets busted, like, he kind of just disappears. He does the thing, right, which allows Steve Zahn's character to kind of regain his, like, stature within the family, like, allows his wife to view him in a different light, finally, like, gives him an opportunity to stand up for her and, like, be a quote-unquote man or whatever. But the character of that guy, that local that steals these bracelets because, the man, they're part of the system of white oppression, I felt bad. I felt so bad for that character. And he just kind of disappears. You find out that he gets caught or whatever. But I guess because she set that whole thing up, the friends are kind of like, they are kind of the two most evil type of people in this whole kind of. But I love the son's arc. I love, like, him waking up on the beach, watching porn when he still had or when he borrowed his dad's phone or whatever on the beach. Like, that's got to be, like, I can't imagine the feeling of just on a chaise lounge on a beach by yourself. I think it was during sunset, which is kind of weird that it's weird that more people weren't on the beach, but just having that kind of privacy on a beach and just, like, jerking off to the waves. I mean, like, I wished I was that kid through a lot of this show. But I enjoyed that family. And then there's, like, these newlyweds, which the dude in the newlywed thing was just the worst kind of a person. Just spoiled, entitled, mama's boy. He's on his honeymoon, but, like, his mom shows up and he's super stoked that his mom shows up to the same resort as him and on his like, just kind of disgusting. And it's like, his newlywed, his wife, like, there's a point where I was on her side where, like, she's this writer. She's trying to figure out what she wants to do. He doesn't really give a shit. Like, all he cares about is that she's hot and that he can have sex with her whenever. Like, that's why he married her. And she's, like, having this existential crisis of, like, what she's going to do with her life. She doesn't want to be just a trophy wife. She doesn't want to just have to rely on him, because as soon as he gets tired of her, which that type of person is going to instantly get tired of her. They mention that they sign a prenup or whatever. Like, he's going to dump her as, like, but she kind of has an arc. She kind of, like, tries to do her own thing, but in the end goes back to him, which is just kind of sad. It's just like, similarly to the son of the family, like, I was rooting for her. Ultimately, she disappointed. Like, it wasn't as likely that she was going to do it. You know, she was at an age where it's like, it happens too often that, women just stay married to people because of the security, because of the financial security. But the dude, like, the rivalry that dude had, the mama's boy had with Armand, was ridiculous, where he's just relentless throughout the entire honeymoon, focused primarily on trying to prove that guy was wrong, that he double booked this room. And it's just, and how it ends, kind of a bummer, right? Kind of a bummer. Because the way the show sets it up, where the mama's boy is at the airport after the vacation, right? And they're waiting to board the plane because they're loading a casket because somebody died at this resort. And the whole time this show's kind of setting up like it's going to be his fiance. Like, there's going to be, especially when she has, like, the second thoughts about getting married. Like, he kind of seems like that type of guy, if he gets the right drugs in him, would be like, okay, well then, if I can't have you, nobody can. Feels like it's setting that up, and it ends up being Armand, and it's like such a bummer, because despite the fact Armand just this downward spiral, like, I felt like I know what it's like to be on that customer service side. Now he fucked up, maybe he should just come clean about it, but he was still trying to make it right, despite also, still, like, sending him on that private boat trip with the grieving woman. Clearly still, like, they were fucking with each other. But I was on Armand's side the whole time. Like, at no point did I have sympathy for the newlywed dude, the mama's boy. At no point. Like, just that type of person that will not let things go. Like, they like exist to cry about shit is so annoying. And he doesn't die because he's the one at the airport at the end. But they set it up to make it think. So it was kind of like a nice twist where you find out, I mean, obviously you find out it's Armand, but like, ultimately it didn't really matter. Join Inspired Disorder Plus today. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus to join. Membership includes members-only discounts and deals. You get access to the Ray Taylor Show completely ad-free, as well as bonus episodes. You get access to the complete live painting archive. You also get access to every single podcast ever produced by Inspired Disorder, hosted by Ray Taylor. You get access to Ray Taylor's personal blog, as well as the opportunity to ask me any questions. So if you want to start a podcast, you're into art, ask me anything. And so many more things are being added every day to Inspired Disorder Plus. So sign up today, become a member, head on over to inspireddisorder.com/plus and become an Inspired Disorder Plus member today. And then there's the rich lady who's, there to spread her mom's ashes or whatever, and she's grieving, which I loved her. She's MILF from Jennifer Coolidge. She's the original MILF from American Pie. So great. Befriends this lady that's the wellness instructor or whatever, and like totally manipulates her. And her arc is all about her finding a relationship that's not a monetary relationship. Like all of her relationships have to do with money because that's what she has, and everybody the only reason anybody gives a shit about her or talks to her is because she's got money. So like that wellness chick just gets completely steamrolled, like just thinking she has this out, thinking that she's going to be able to start her own business, follow her dreams with this investment from this rich person. And it's like for Tanya, it doesn't mean anything. She doesn't care. She's like, money's money. I don't give a shit. But she ended up still like, going out with the dude she thought was Black Lives Matter, but it was Bureau of Wildlife, Bureau of Land Management. Kind of fun. The dancer got screwed over. The wellness chick got screwed over. The man, like all of the staff gets screwed over. The person that got screwed over the least in all of the staff was the woman on the first episode whose water broke and gave birth. She wasn't there for the rest of the I kind of love that like she never comes back. Like on her first day of work, her water breaks and she goes into labor, and then she just never comes back, avoiding all of this stuff, which I thought was hilarious. Like maybe season 2, if it's at the same location, it would be funny if they brought her back and maybe she at this point is now the new manager. I don't know. But she avoided everything. Even the dudes that were partying with Armand when he found the drugs and they were partying with him and he was just going down the spiral, eating their ass, like they kind of ended up okay. I'm sure they still have their jobs. They're working for somebody else there. They got to party and hang out, have a crazy story. Like, hey, this one guy that used to be in charge of this place used to get fucked up and would just let us party. It was crazy. And then he got stabbed. He got stabbed by this mama's boy. But yeah, it's kind of a fun, like it felt like so tight and self-contained. Like it didn't really feel like this 10 episode thing. I don't know. Just a fun show. I really enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the writing and the acting. I completely looking forward to Mike White as the creator of this show. Definitely looking forward to season 2. Be interested to see. I would imagine have to be primarily all new cast. Maybe if it's at the same place, it would be some of the staff still there. I could see that kid still being there, rowing. That would be cool. That would be so awesome. Maybe he's got a job at the resort. That would be awesome. There's aspects of it that I think that they could bring back. But then you'd have a whole new group of visitors. And, I don't know what the story would be. I can't imagine somebody else would end up dead, but it could still be. I mean, it's rife with dramatic potential, for sure. So if you haven't seen it, The White Lotus on HBO was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I thought, especially the acting. Murray Bartlett was great. I love Steve Zahn, Jennifer Coolidge. Obviously, Connie Britton from Friday Night Lights plays the mother of the wife of the family, who's great. She's kind of plays like this CEO that successful but constantly on her phone, constantly busy. you know, and just her and Steve Zahn after the robbery, their ability to find love again. I really enjoyed that, you know. I did. I enjoyed that whole thing, but she's great. Always great performances, and a lot of fun. And the daughter of that, that family was from Euphoria. What's her name? Her name is Sydney Sweeney. So she is great. She's great as well, and great in Euphoria too. But anyway, check it out. It's called The White Lotus on HBO.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. And follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.